Welcome to Indiana Sports Beat Radio, presented by Endeavor Hospitality Group and Andy Morhonda of Bloomington.
Looks over the middle, second guesses, fires, throws. Does he make the catch in the end zone? Yes! Touchdown!
Oladipo to win it.
Another one!
He got
Another one!
Oladipo!
Another one! Huge hole! He's at the 30. He's going to go! 10, 5, touchdown! Jonathan Taylor!
Galloway finds Rob Finnessy, who fires the three in.
He hit it!
Now, from the Golf Club at Eagle Point Studios, here's your host, Jim Coyle.
Hello, everybody. Welcome in another edition of Indiana Sports Beat here on this Thursday, coming to you live from the Golf Club at Eagle Point Studios, along with Dustin Schutte from Outsider.com. I'm Jim Coyle. Hope you're having a great week. We've got plenty more to get at it today. Thanks to our fine friends at Andy Moore Honda Bloomington, where you can always get an incredible deal, and the great folks from the Wow Club and Endeavor Hospitality family of restaurants, including Baby's Market, where starting this Friday night, they'll begin their Friday night cookouts. Just a kind of a pre-tailgate if you want to go, if you're going to a high school game or if you're getting ready for the IU game or any other game or just a weekend at home. An incredible fun time. You can go out and pick up wings, pulled pork sandwiches, smoked jalapeno cheddar brats. How's that grab you?
Oh,
Baked beans, potato salad, the whole deal. It's all there. Tea, water, soda, everything you'd want, and much, much more. We'll talk about all that later. Dustin Schutte, how are you, sir?
I'm doing great. I'm a little hungry now after you just mentioned the jalapeno cheddar sausage or brats.
Wait till tomorrow
brats.
and I'm out it. Wait till tomorrow and we're actually at BB's.
I'm going to make some Mississippi mud roast and jalapeno poppers this weekend.
Doesn't sound bad. Yeah, it doesn't sound bad. That's a weekend kind of a thing.
It is. You know, I try to make it something big so you can have it on Saturday and Sunday. You just don't have to worry about it. Just heat it up. You know, it's a crock pot deal. So the jalapeno poppers will take me a little bit of time, but definitely worth it. Big jalapeno popper guy.
A big weekend coming up, of course, Indiana football. Another game on tap. This weekend's game is a noon kickoff. I like that a lot better than the 8 p.m. starts. I'm going to be a lot happier not having to get home at 1:30 a.m. in the morning. How's everybody doing? Dwayne says hello. Larry jumping on. Michael, Mike, Travis. Wyatt was in St. Louis last night to see his Cardinals.
They're on a heater, man.
And Yachty make history. Did he hit his 700th already? Surely not. No, that's what Yachty. I'm thinking of someone else. Yeah. What was Yachty doing?
I actually could not tell you. I did not watch any baseball yesterday.
Well, there was apparently a record. I'm not a Cardinals fan, so I wasn't following it. I'm sure we're going to find out.
Wyatt's going to keep us posted.
Well, there's a lot of Cardinals fans on here. I promise you.
That's
true. I'm not one of them. I wish I were. A lot of the times, trust me, because I'm a Reds fan.
How about? They were in a race with the Brewers, and they have pulled away. I think there's 7 games now up, 6 or 7 games up. I mean, that looked like it was going to be one of the few races heading into late September, early October. But now I don't think it's a race now, as long as there's not some sort of massive collapse.
The Dodgers have won their division already. Imagine that. What are the other 4 teams combined? Like 80 games back? I'm not kidding.
Yeah, it's more than that.
Yeah, I was going to say I'm not kidding.
29.5 plus 31 plus 20.5 plus 36.5. My goodness.
That's what 100. How many was that? 110? 100?
Let's see.
That's a lot.
That's basically 60, 96, 16, about 117, 118 when you count the half games.
That's nuts.
Basically a full MLB season.
Report in the Athletic says momentum for FBS conferences. That's the football bowl subdivision. That's the Division I, the big boys. To seek an alternative governance model from the NCAA appears to be fading, meaning I read yesterday that they would like to keep it under the NCAA if they can get better governance. Hello?
Yeah.
Duh. Well, sometimes all I can do is just shake my head at things. Shouldn't you ask for this a long damn time ago?
Yes.
What did it take? Why? What did it take to wait for you to do this now?
I don't know.
Shouldn't you have wanted better governance 20 years ago? I know. That's when they had complete control of everything.
Right.
Now
exactly.
they don't have control of everything. Yeah.
Right.
I was being a little facetious, but
yeah. Now that everything's changed,
it would be too difficult, in my opinion. I mean, you're going to have to start just completely start an association.
Yeah. I think that's probably what led to them fading away from this, the Autonomy 5 or Power 5 or whatever, shifting away from the idea of branching out on their own, because you've got the foundation there. Work with the NCAA to get some stuff fixed, to get better governance.
The NCAA in essence works for the schools,
right? So you got to work with them. It would be, I can't imagine these Power 5 conferences. First of all, you'd have to get all 5 of the commissioners on the same page. And that's probably not going to happen. There's too many egos in the room. There's a lot of egos in the room as it stands, but at least you've already got the foundation, the structure in place. Just make some tweaks and some alterations. I mean, you're basically starting from scratch anyway now with NIL, with the transfer portal, with all these changes that have been made. I can't imagine trying to take that on in a new sort of organization, I guess you could call it.
Well, I think a big part of this too has been the playoff expansion.
Yep.
That's eased a lot of the tension because, let's be honest, most of that was going to the SEC, the Big Ten already, with a little bit of a fourth when you kind of dust it out a little bit. Little Notre Dame here, a little Oklahoma here, a little Cincinnati. But the rest has been the Big Ten and the SEC, and then of course the SEC. But
right
now you got 12 teams going in. So now there'll be. Is there a maximum on how many a conference can put in?
Not that I'm aware of. That's me. That's why
there'll be 6 SEC teams now. Then
exactly. That's why the SEC did not want to have automatic qualifiers. And I have not read the literature on it yet. I don't know what all the stipulations are, or if anything's in place, or the requirements. But Greg Sankey was vehemently against automatic qualifiers for conference champions, and that's why, because he thinks the SEC can get, like you said, probably 4 to 6 teams in that field.
Well,
because
but I also agree
so
that
high.
the 4th best team in the SEC is going to be better than the best team in the Pac-12, probably.
I mean, that's probably fair
right now.
But
year in, year out, you don't know where it's going to come from. It could be one year, it could be the where. But yeah, I agree. I mean,
which I don't disagree with you, but I think that there should be, if you win your conference, that should mean something, right? Like, to me, at least.
It depends on the conference. It depends on the conference. If you're winning the MAC,
yeah, but right,
that doesn't mean anything to me.
But what they're gonna take is the highest ranked, probably the highest ranked Group of 5 team. So it wouldn't be a conference champion. It would be Cincinnati, UCF. I mean, somebody who had a great season.
They're not a Group of 5. They're in.
Well, now, yes, correct. Now they are.
So now they're in the Big 12.
Boise State.
Yeah, I don't want a highest ranked group of 5 just because you're in a group of highest, just because they're the highest ranked of that group. That doesn't mean that, to me, that doesn't mean that they're one of the 12. I want the 12 best teams.
I disagree. I want somebody who deserves it. I mean, it's the same thing.
How does the 12 best teams not deserve it?
I agree.
Top 12, how do you not deserve it?
You also can't control what conference you. I mean, yes, you can nowadays, but those players can't control what conference they play in. So I think
they
one
accepted
group of
the
5
scholarship.
teams is fine. Well, yeah, but they may not get a
Well,
scholarship.
I'm not saying they get. I say they should get in if they deserve to get in. But
Right.
they don't just that. But just because you're a group of 5 team does not mean you automatically get in. I don't agree with that. What if the best group of 5 team was 7-3?
Well,
and they lost to their losses would be crap losses.
I would have to go back and look and see what the best group of 5 team finished every year, because I guarantee that team always is going to have at least 10 wins. But like, imagine, let's just use this as an example. Imagine Appalachian State getting in. Oh man, that would be a hell of a lot of fun.
If they're playing like they're doing it right now, hell yes. I'd love to see that. I'd love to see that. But not just because they're App State and they win their conference. Let's say they didn't beat Texas A&M this year and they hadn't. Well, they lost to North Carolina, so they're out to me automatically. That team's North Carolina's terrible.
But what if they finished 11-1, won their conference? They had the win over Texas A&M. Would you put them in? I'd put them in because I think they'd be fun.
It's going to be a fun conversation when it actually comes around. And I was already thinking a minute ago, I'm like, boy, oh boy, I can't wait till those 10, 11, and 12 teams, who they are. It's going to be the same discussions that we had for that 4th spot. There's usually 3 teams. A lot of times there's I don't know, 3 teams that could get in. But this is what I'd like to see, because we have this in college basketball. We have it in every other sport. You know what it takes. This is why I want automatic qualifiers. And I think you could do it with group of 5 Power 5 champions and the highest ranked group of 5 team. That's 6 teams. That leaves you 6 open bids. Just like in college basketball, you know what you have to do to guarantee a spot in the tournament. Now, you do leave some of it up to the committee, but if you win 25 games, you're getting in the tournament. If you win your conference, you're getting in the tournament. I want to know, like, I want some sort of structure, some sort of criteria that's consistent from year to year as to what it takes to get in. And then those other 6 teams, you knew what it takes. Now, we might have discussions about one team getting in and the other being left out, or this team had an additional quality win and got snubbed, whatever the case might be. But at least you would have some sort of idea, some sort of criteria as to why you were able to get into the college football playoff. And if you don't meet it, then you leave yourself subject to the committee. We'll see. It's going to be fun. Looks like we got to take a break, though. I'm not getting the hint from John. Got plenty more coming up here today. Matt Taylor joins us, of course. Chris Denari as well. This is Thursday, right?
It is.
Just checking.
And Kyler Staley.
And Kyler Staley. Got to get used to that one. Moving around. All right. Plenty more coming up. Brought to you by our good friends at BB's. Like I said, tomorrow night. We'll be there live tomorrow. But tomorrow night, begin their Friday night cookouts. Oh, man. I read some of the things. We'll go over them a little bit more in the menu later. But, yummy, yummy. Back with more after this.
We'll be right back to the Golf Club at Eagle Point Studios for more Indiana Sports Beat Radio with Jim Coyle, presented by Endeavor Hospitality Group and Andy Moore Honda of Bloomington.
Whether you're a business.
Hey, Kyler, you remember your 9:30, right?
My bad.
Hold on. Actually, if you want, Matt Taylor will probably be here. I was going to say, if he doesn't show up, we can take you now, but are you good at 9:30?
Yeah, I'm not. I got confused because last week we changed with Alex.
Okay.
I'm out. I'll see you now.
Okay, see you. That was funny.
All right, here's the question of the day. Barks or mug root beer?
Oof. I haven't had either one in a while. So
I don't. Yeah, I'd have to go with Barks since that's my most recent.
Barks 100%. But
I can't. I don't know.
My favorite, I think my favorite is IBC.
I like when you actually get it at A&W and they give you the mug, frosted mug.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah.
There aren't very many A&Ws though. There is one fairly close to where I live, but that's the only one nearby.
I think A&W is last on that list though. I think it goes third place. IBC got the glass bottles. I have not had root beer in forever. I'm going to actually pick some up after I saw that.
I used to drink root beer all the time as a kid.
Sarsaparilla.
My soft drink of choice.
Sarsaparilla. Put it out on the poll, John. Barks or mug? Root beer.
I think my answer was A&W based on what I said, right?
Or I guess you can add A&W. Add it to the mix.
I've never seen an A&W though that wasn't paired with the Long John Silvers.
That's a great point. I don't know if they exist.
Well, there's no real point to them. Do you see a Coke place by itself?
Well, they sell burgers and stuff.
Yeah, A&W is like a hot dog drive-in, isn't it?
Yeah, they have hot dog. It's like the typical American food.
Yeah. Kind of like a Sonic, if I remember correctly. I don't know that
Yeah, I would compare it to a Sonic. That's a good comparison.
You know where I have never eaten at a Long John Silver's.
Really? They were founded in Louisville. That's probably why you haven't seen one. They're probably not too far away from the area.
Long
John Silver's?
We grew up.
True.
It's not founded in Louisville?
Lexington, possibly.
Oh, okay. Well, it's in the state. Here we go.
I grew.
If we're not on a station where you live, we should be. Ask for Indiana Sports Beat Radio. This segment is brought to you by Southern Stone Restaurant. Now back to the Golf Club at Eagle Point Studios for more Indiana Sports Beat Radio with Jim Coyle, presented by Endeavor Hospitality Group and Andy Moore Honda of Bloomington.
Welcome back. It is Thursday. I hope you're having a great day. Jim Coyle with you as always. Dustin Schutte from Outsider.com as well. Brought to you by our good friends at Southern Stone Restaurant, where I was last night. Tom Allen's show. Stop by out there. Don Fisher hosting, of course. Inside Indiana Football. It's each and every Wednesday at 7 o'clock at Southern Stone Restaurant there at Patterson and Rogers. Oh, man. The food there. What did I have last night? I started off with fried oysters.
Oh.
Yeah. It was so good. So good. The choices are and the price. I was noticing something there. That's a restaurant that you would think would be a little more expensive. It's not. I was like, all the entrees were like $15.
Wow.
$16. And I was like, wow.
That's a heck of a deal.
It is. And
I can tell you, I have never had oysters because I cannot get over the texture. It's kind of like mushrooms.
Don't. What texture does a mushroom have?
It's slimy to me.
It is not slimy.
Yeah. Yes, it is.
Then you have then you have to quit buying bad mushrooms then.
No, I'm just telling you, when they saute them, I can't. First of all, I can't do it. I don't like the taste particularly, but it is more of a texture thing. I think if you chop them up, like you say you do, and put it in your chili, I do think I give you a hard time about that, but I don't think I'd be able to taste them. If it's a full mushroom and they've been sauteed, oof, I can't do it. Makes me sick.
Mike says wherever he is, he's up north somewhere. They've got a B&K where they make their own root beer. Talking about that root beer discussion.
I grew up in Logansport, B&K, baby.
And Wyatt says there used to be a KFC and A&W right down the road in Mitchell. I guess that's gone. Tanis Half-11 says there's a KFC Long John Silver's in Huntington, Indiana.
There you go.
Got stuff all over the world. Robert says he'll probably get roasted for this. The root beer at Triple X in Lafayette is great, and he loves their greasy food as well.
It is good.
That's all right.
Hey,
good food's good food.
Has anybody here
at the home of the mortuary?
Have you guys tried the peanut butter burger? Surprisingly, I like it. You have to like peanut butter.
I've never even heard of such a thing. Matt Taylor, have you?
Have I heard of peanut butter? Yeah, I've heard of peanut butter.
Not peanut butter, a peanut butter burger.
Yeah, I've heard of a peanut butter burger. This show's a peanut butter burger.
Well, you got that right. It's a nut burger, more like a nut cake or something like that.
That's right, man. That's right.
How's Matt Taylor doing?
Good. Hanging in there. What's going on with you guys?
We're talking about root beer and all kinds of exciting things today.
Yeah, the big question, Matt, is: are you a Barks or Mug root beer guy, or A&W?
Mug. Yeah, mug. Yeah, give me a mug and a mug, right? Frosty mug.
Yeah.
It
Frosty
was nice
mug
talking.
mug.
It was nice talking to you today, Matt. Hope the Colts do well this Sunday.
I poked the bear. I didn't even know it.
Oh man, me either. I was like, wow, he takes his root beer seriously, baby. Holy smokes. Matt Taylor.
I didn't know you were so passionate about root beer. I gotta figure this out about you. I'm gonna write that down.
There we go.
Easy Christmas gift.
There you go. So what are you, Dustin? Are you lay it on me? Give it to me now.
I actually like the my favorite is the IBC root beer, but I'm a Barks guy.
Okay. All right. What about isn't there such a thing as Dad's root beer? Dad's? Yeah. You guys ever heard of Dad's?
Yeah. That's what I've heard. I may have had it, but I don't remember it.
Yeah. Or remember back in the day, what was the drive-in called? Oh shoot, Dog and Suds root beer.
Dog and Suds, yes, they actually sell that at. There's a in Indianapolis, the Pop Fizz. They sell it. The bottles of it's just about every type of root beer they have. Dog and Suds. There's old school sarsaparilla, which is basically root beer.
Wow.
Guess what I'm trying tomorrow, Dustin, and Matt. I will be having a peanut butter burger tomorrow.
There we go.
Because I just found out. Chef JD is telling me they have BB's has a peanut butter burger and Triple X root beer.
Wow.
So I'll be trying that tomorrow.
I probably average like 2 root beers a year.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm not a big, me either. I mean, if it happens, it happens. It's not on. Yeah. It's not in my, if it happens, the quarterback has gone down.
I like it.
I've been on a roll this week, man. I don't know. I've just been on a roll this week. Speaking of on a roll, you need to get the Colts on one. They did break a streak of not losing the opening game on opening weekend, so there's some positives. Probably didn't go as well as anyone would have liked, I guess you'd say. But they didn't lose, so you got to take the positives out of it.
It's one way to look at it. I like it.
I'm being as PC as possible today, baby.
Okay. No, you got to lay it out there. I mean, it was a game where it had everything. It was weird. It had ups, it had downs, it had uncharacteristic mistakes. The Colts just didn't play their best. I mean, that's just it. I mean, I think that the Texans are certainly vastly improved over last year, and they've got some new optimism with the new head coach and things like that. But Colts just didn't play well, and had the Colts played the way they played for the last 10 minutes and 47 seconds of that game, for a majority of that game, probably would have won by 2 scores. And that's just the reality of it. They did a lot of that to themselves, and they've left a lot of points out there, a lot of self-infliction with drop passes in the end zone, going forward on 4th and goal at the 2, coming up short, you throw a pick. In plus territory, some coverage busts on a tight end that gets you for 2 touchdowns. They put it together towards the end, and they deserve credit for that. But they had the missed field goal in overtime, so all three phases let them down. They had a roughing the punter penalty on special teams that continue to drive, and that was huge in terms of field position and momentum, because you're going to get really good field position after that. But they run into the punter in their own end zone, and then they negate any chances they had to capitalize off of that. So a lot to clean up, and I guess the good thing is it's week one, and it's all correctable. And if you have to pick some mistakes or things that did not go well week one, you'd rather have mental errors with the focus and the intensity ratchet up going into week two, as compared to come to find out, if you watch on tape, hey, our offensive line just isn't very good. We're not able to hang in there and protect, or our defensive line can't get pressure. Those things did not happen. It was just all mental mistakes for the most part, concentration, lack of execution. So hopefully they turn that around and make that cliched big jump, as they say in football, from week one to week two. They're going to have to, because it's a huge game. It's another AFC South game for the Colts on the road against the Jaguars. I don't know if it's must win, but it's pretty close to gotta have, important to get off to a good start, considering, as we've always talked about, the front loaded nature of the schedule being littered with AFC South games.
Yeah, and one of the things that I took away from that game, Matt, and one of the things I didn't want to see was Jonathan Taylor, 31 carries. He played extremely well. I mean, he just continues to show me that I think he's one of the top three backs in the NFL, if not the top back in the NFL. But I don't know that you can lean on him for 30 carries a game and expect to win a lot of football games, or keep him healthy throughout the duration of the season. That's one thing that I looked at. I wanted him to be around maybe 20 to 20, maybe 25. So those 6 additional carries. Matt Ryan didn't play bad. I still think they're looking for some options at wide receiver, but man, they've got to figure out a way to either distribute the ball among their running backs, or be more efficient and finish these drives and get into the end zone, because 31 carries for Jonathan Taylor. We talked about it all offseason. They've got to be they got to be a little bit more careful with him, in my opinion.
Yeah, that's I agree with you. It's certainly on the high side. That's not where he can live in reality for the remainder of the season, and expect us remain durable, remain healthy, and again, for the overall success of the offense. I mean, we've talked about that, as you said, a majority of the offseason. You got to become more efficient in the passing game, and I think for the most part they were, but they just didn't execute. Like I said, throwing a pick in plus territory on a screen pass, or dropping a touchdown pass in the second quarter. I mean, those are things that'll help your passing game, obviously help the overall output of your point total, take some of the stress off of Jonathan Taylor. But the fact is, the Colts in overtime, they were going to pound him. And at that point, it's sort of like analytics and touches, all that just goes out the window. All that stuff be damned. We just try to win a football game at that point, and we got to ride our best players. And that's certainly what the Colts did on Sunday. Matt Ryan goes over 300 yards passing. He distributed the ball pretty well, but at the end of the day, it was still Michael Pittman Jr. being the lead guy in the passing games. 7 or 8 catches for over 100 yards. I think that's going to be probably the norm than the outlier. He's going to be that involved on a game-to-game basis. But yeah, it's those 3 guys. Those are going to be your stars. Nyheim Hines is going to be somewhere in the 4 to 6 catch range per game. But I'm with you. I don't think it's in the best interest of the Colts to give Jonathan Taylor 30 plus carries every game and expect him to be out there the next Sunday at full capacity, and for the Colts to be in positions to win. It just sort of worked out that way based on how that game was going. Once you got into overtime and once you started that fourth quarter rally, you just had to give the ball to your best player, and that's who Jonathan Taylor is. So I guess the bigger point to all of this discussion is don't get down by 17 points and have to rely on Jonathan Taylor to help you get back into the game.
Right.
Then this week, how did the broadcast go for you? First broadcast of the season? Shake the rust off, everything ready to go?
Yeah, we were good. It was a fun game. I mean, it had everything. It had drama, right? It had it had big plays. It had, some head-scratching moments on both sides. some momentum swings. It was that's why the NFL, man, is so popular, because any given Sunday, and it was week 1, everybody's chomping at the bit to get back and to watch with a full slate of games, and it was exciting. Also, my first chance to get back on the road in the regular season at Houston for the first time since 2019, so that was good. With the COVID restrictions gone, we're back to normal.
I was
with
wondering
the
about that
parties.
because
So that
Chris
was fun.
Denari
That was
was
a good
pointing
time.
out that they're. Yeah, I was wondering about that because Chris Denari said they're back out on the road this year for the first time as well.
Yep. So it was nice and peaceful, that plane ride, not having to worry about connecting flights and fly commercial and rental cars and things like that. You got on the plane and you got on the bus and they gave you your key or they gave you your credential and away you go, man. I don't think I took it for granted before, but I definitely don't take it for granted now, because traveling with a team is just so relaxing, because all of that stuff's taken care of for you. All you have to do is just focus on doing your job that day. And so, yeah, it was good to be back in a raucous environment there in Houston, which is, I think, and Jacksonville's sort of the same way, considering when the Colts play there, that atmosphere is always kind of ratcheted up a notch, just like it will be on Sunday. And so they are deceptively tough places to play. But that being said, the Colts are trying to break a streak of 7 consecutive losses to the Jaguars as the visiting team. And it's sort of inexplicable how some of these games have gone. If it made sense, obviously it wouldn't happen. The Colts would fix it a long time ago. So looking forward to it. And like I said, it's a monster game for the Colts. Monster game. You do not want to be 0-1-1 going into week 3 against the Kansas City Chiefs.
Yeah, and this is not going to get much easier, Matt, because Jacksonville, to me, in that week 1 looked a lot better than they did all of last season and the previous couple seasons. They had opportunities to beat Washington. They let it slip away, kind of like the Colts. I mean, they had some ups and downs. They took a fourth quarter lead. They, it looked like the game was going to be over there in the fourth quarter and basically found a way to lose, right? So really impressed with Trevor Lawrence. I still think he's a young quarterback making some questionable decisions. Man, but Travis Etienne, he might be a problem for the Colts. I mean, I was impressed with his ability in the run game and as a receiver out of the backfield. I mean, what have you seen from Jacksonville? What can the Colts expect trying to get that first win?
Yeah, I'm with you. I think their offense is deceptively loaded. They've got a lot of playmakers. Marvin Jones is back. He was a really tough matchup for the Colts last year in the red zone. Evan Ingram comes over in free agency from the Giants. He's a really good, versatile tight end. You talked about Trevor Lawrence and that development going from year 1 to year 2. I still think he's got the raw tools to be a superstar in this league. He's trying to put it all together. James Robinson is back at the running back position. He tore his Achilles late in the season last year, but he's a 1,000-yard rusher in the past. Zay Jones is a very, very good wide receiver. The Colts saw him last year with the Raiders, and he put up over 100 yards against the Colts last year at Lucas Oil Stadium in a game where if the Colts win that one the week before they play the Jaguars in Week 18, we're not talking about this narrative. The Colts make the playoffs. Christian Kirk, monster contract in free agency. Jamal Agnew, a huge threat on special teams as a punt return guy, a kick return guy. They loaded up on defense. At the linebacker position, they draft Trayvon Walker, first overall out of Georgia. They bring in Foye Olakun out of Yale, and he was a monster last year with the Atlanta Falcons. He's another free agent, led the NFL in tackles, upgraded in the back end as well with Tyson Campbell, Andre Sisco, Rayshon Jenkins. So I think the word that I've used most this season when describing Jacksonville is deceptive. They are deceptively loaded on both sides of the ball. Now, do I think they're going to win 10 games, 11 games, and contend for the AFC South? Probably not. I still think they might be a year or two away from that. But it's markedly better from last year. And last year they split with the Colts, dominated the Colts 26-11 in Week 18 in a game that wasn't even that close. So if you think you're just going to go down there and show up this year like you maybe thought you did last year or were going to last year, the Colts are going to get upset again. And I've said all week that I would never predict anything. I would never predict, the Colts winning a game or, this is any given Sunday in this league, as we all know in the NFL. But I am going to guarantee the Colts are going to have an edge. They're going to have a chip on their shoulder. There's going to be some pads thumping. There's going to be some heads cracking, and the Colts, being motivated to get off to a good start in this game is not going to be a problem. I can guarantee that part of the equation.
I've been working on my kicking skills.
We're good. Yeah, I appreciate that, but we're good.
Stretching, getting loose.
We're good. You just go ahead and kick that ball out of bounds. We're good.
I'm ready, bro. I'm ready. I've got the 18th fairway I've been practicing on.
Yeah.
Why are you? If you're going to do kicking, why are you stretching your arm out? I don't.
Yeah, I'm curious about that as well.
I can't. Do you want me to show you to be stretching my legs out here right now?
We'll take your word for it.
See, I'm emulating the stretching motion. So
okay, gotcha.
I thought that was better than the alternative. So
yeah.
Matt Taylor, I hope you have a great weekend, brother.
Appreciate you guys. Go Hoosiers! Come on now.
We got to get them a third. They're looking at 3-0, man.
Yeah, and it's sort of like the Colts situation. I mean, I thought they've
Very
got a
similar.
good team, right? They've got players and they've got the talent and they've got the potential, but just the first half of that game, no execution, no fire, no energy, no urgency, and I guess it's to be expected considering it's a crappy weather night. You're playing Idaho. It's an FCS opponent. You should win by 40.
It's 2 in the morning.
Right, and there's really no payoff. Like if you win, nobody cares, and if you lose, holy crap, the sky's falling. And so it's one of those things where there was just no energy, and guys had their head below water, missing field goals, throwing interceptions on when guys are wide open. The rain is a factor, maybe. So just win that football game, move on to the next one, and avoid crisis, and that's what they did.
You know Rhett Lewis?
I do.
I thought you guys may have crossed paths out. The new color guy for IU football.
Great guy. And I've tuned in for a handful of minutes of both broadcasts, and he's been fantastic so far from the little that I've heard, and I'm not surprised.
Sounds great. Matt Taylor, can't thank you enough, brother.
All right, guys, be well.
See you soon. The great Matt Taylor, the voice of the Indianapolis Colts, joining us here on Indiana Sports Beat Radio on this Thursday. We've got more coming up, brought to you by our good friends at GoTeam. You can also pick that up at BB's or GoTeamBites.com, where you can order a special Hoosier pack, and you get 10% off if you use the code COIL10. GoTeamBites.com or BB'sMarket.com. You get lots of places. Well, we'll have to sample. I have some of those. They're delicious. That's when you wanted something to grab and go. Easy. Oh, you talk about whoop. There's nothing easier. Out the door, and it's healthy and tastes delicious. Back with more Indiana Sports Beat. Maybe another exercise segment.
There we go.
We'll be right back to the Golf Club at Eagle Point Studios for more Indiana Sports Beat Radio with Jim Coyle, presented by Endeavor Hospitality Group and Andy Moore Honda of Bloomington.
The sun is out.
Get some jazzercise going in here.
There you go.
That stretch going.
Yeah.
For those of you who are just joining us, don't be alarmed.
Do my lunges here. Can I get my lunges going?
We're not going crazy. We've already gone crazy. Let's see. I should go.
Oh man,
you know
I did
That's
4 lunges.
You know
I'm
what?
freaking tired. Whoo, I'm out of shape, man.
You know what? I was wondering, what am I going to do to eat before I have to play this charity golf outing immediately after the show? So I'm like, I'm going to grab some Go Team bites.
There you
How
go.
about that?
Go team.
All right. What do you think? The studio's taking shape.
I like it.
It looks good. Yes.
Yeah,
It's less
different than before.
I like it because it feels, even though there's a lot of stuff, less cluttered.
Yes.
Big fan.
Much less cluttered.
Big fan of it.
And the table, I can kind of, you've probably never seen Dale Earnhardt Jr.'s Dale Jr.'s download. You always have they have cars that they have on their table that they sit around. Those cars are always different. And sometimes I think it's dependent upon the guest. There's always different reasons. So if you're ever when you actually come in town, we can do a sit down segment.
Ooh, that sounds good. I could
morning chat with Dustin. The daily chat with Dustin.
There we go. Dustin's daily. Oh.
Deep thoughts with Dustin Schutte. You don't know that. That was Saturday Night Live, an old Saturday Night Live. Deep Thoughts with Jack Handy.
I feel like I have heard of that.
That sounds like a fake name, a play on of something we shouldn't say on the air.
It does.
It's a real.
All right. It's time to come back in. Here we go.
And pilots. See dealer for financing deals. Andy Moore Honda, Bloomington's #1 Honda dealer. Get more to your door with AndyMooreHonda.com.
Come see us at the all-new Andy Moore Honda, now in Bloomington.
This segment is brought to you by Remax Advanced Realty, Indie Home Pros team by Cheryl Sizemore. Now back to the Golf Club at Eagle Point Studios for more Indiana Sports Beat Radio with Jim Coyle, presented by Endeavor Hospitality Group and Andy Moore Honda of Bloomington.
Welcome back. It is Thursday. Jim Coyle with you here as always. Dustin Schutte as well from Outsider.com. And this segment is brought to you by our good friend Cheryl Sizemore from Remax Realty. If you're in the market for a home in the Indianapolis area, you need Cheryl and her 2 decades of experience there. It could be the difference between you getting the home you want or not. Reach out to her, Cheryl at IndyHomePros.com. The Indiana football team has taken it upon themselves to start their own NIL collective. That's in addition to anything else that may come about for them. But this looks and seems to be started by the players themselves. Most of the, like Hoosiers for Good, it spreads it to everyone. And there you go. If you're watching on YouTube, you can see the up on the screen, but and I should read it, I guess. Where John sent that to me. Here we go. Yeah, it says our team has come together to launch the Bloomington NIL Club. If you're a fan looking to support their whole team, this is how you could do it. The Bloomington NIL Club is a membership-based community that allows fans to financially support and interact with their team. Fans can join the BNC right now by making any monthly commitment to the club. So it's a monthly thing, $100 a month, $50 a month, $1,000 a month, whatever. Commit what you can. Every fan is welcome and every dollar counts. Proceeds from their NIL club will equally support the 50+ members of our team that are participating in the club. So whoever those guys are, they're splitting it equally. There's no, fighting, no this, that, the other thing, which is fine, makes it easy. Benefits of becoming a member include the following. You financially support their team and ensure they are a leader in the area of NIL. Meet and greets with questions, Q&As with players. How about this? Film breakdowns and other player-created content, a community message board, and chat to connect with the squad. You can go to BloomingtonNILClub.com. Pretty simple. There you go. You want to support Indiana football? There you go. There's how you do it. I'll get somebody on next week, and we'll talk more about this.
Well, we wondered when it was going to come, right? The basketball team had pretty much all signed up, and we were looking at when is the football team going to jump on board, and it's happening, baby.
Well, they did it themselves,
right?
They're like, all right, well, the heck with this, we'll do this ourselves, which is kind of a smart idea, to be honest with you.
I think so.
I think it's very smart because it seems as transparent as glass.
Yes.
I mean, there's nothing clearer than that. Equally split. Here's how you do it. Boom. I like it.
Yeah, I mean, and we talked about at some point, do these things create tension in the locker room? Well, that's one way to prevent any sort of distraction, no matter what.
And again, with football, you can't compare football and basketball or any other sport. They're apples and oranges. Football as a team, and college football as a team, 85 scholarship players, 85.
Yeah.
85. How many other teams does it take to equal that?
Yep.
You can take. I don't know how many is on the soccer team. No, I don't even know. Full scholarship.
Right.
Not
I would say
baseball does not have.
I was going to say if you could
any full scholarships.
I was going to say, I don't know about full scholarships, but in terms of total players, I mean, baseball and softball are probably going to be your two closest. But that's if you combine them, not in total. So
not close enough.
No, that's what I'm saying. Those two would be, if you combine them, those two would be closest, but you still wouldn't hit it.
You'd have to take baseball, soccer, and men's of course, baseball, men's soccer. We'll stick to the men's sport since we're talking about football. Baseball, soccer.
Yep.
Wrestling, you could keep throwing them in there. Well, wrestling, that's a lot. I don't know how many. Swim and dive is a lot, but
is wrestling a lot? I legitimately don't know.
No, not wrestling.
Okay.
Swimming? You'd probably. I don't know. That's a good question. How many guys are on the wrestling team?
Right. Because there's not that many. I don't
probably
think
have like 11 classes.
I was going to say, I don't know that there's that many. Like in high school, it seems like there's a class for every 6 pounds. But in college, I know it's a little bit more spread out. At least I think it is.
Tim's pointing out that also before the football game this Saturday, Indiana's hosting the Big Ten's tailgate.
Oh, nice.
So before that tailgate, make sure you go to BB's to get all your tailgate supplies. Nice segue.
Beautiful.
Which will be tomorrow. We'll be there tomorrow live. I can't wait. I look forward to Fridays, man. They're so fun. And I have not gained a pound, FYI.
Nice.
Just so you know. Track and field, another good one, Daniel. Thank you. But yeah, I have not gained a pound. So that tells you not only is that incredible food that Chef JD makes, it not only is it incredibly good, it must be totally fat-free. That's a joke. That's not, it's a fib. It is great. I'm sure it's not fat-free, but I have not gained a pound. So there's that.
That's good.
It's probably because I've also been eating goatine along the way. You mix it in, it'll balance. Tim also wants to point out 2024 6'9" forward from Montverde, Asa Newell, to visit IU October 21st to the 23rd. No football game. They'll be away at Rutgers. So there's that as they continue their pipeline down there. But football this week, Big Ten tailgate. Before that's an early one, man. Holy cow!
You go from 8 o'clock, noon.
Yeah, I'm like, I mean, I don't care about the game. I'm at the Big Ten, but I guess
the tailgate.
But I guess all of their shows are probably for 12 noon kickoffs because Fox has the.
I don't know.
Well, because all of once you hit noon, baby, it's over. The game's
right. I mean, it's a pregame show, so it starts at I think usually 10 Eastern, 9.
Yeah,
Central,
I'd say it's always over by noon anyway.
Yeah, yes, it is. Mm-hmm.
So there's that. So, but they'll be in Bloomington this week.
That'll be fun.
So yeah. So there's that, and the football news. If you want to start supporting their NIL, you got that as well.
By the way, I think it's really cool that the Big Ten Network gets to, even though even though all the teams aren't great and sometimes the matchups aren't great, I do think it's really cool for the Big Ten Network to travel to every school in the Big Ten throughout the season. I know it's difficult, but that's one thing I really like that they do. They could go to Ohio State or Michigan every single week if they wanted to, but they hit up all 14 Big Ten schools. I think that's pretty cool.
Well, it gives Big Ten teams a double opportunity.
Yes.
And up until now, a triple opportunity. That won't be the case going forward with ESPN's game day going forward anymore, but they'll still have 2 opportunities. Well, you'll get this once, but you still have the shot at hosting Fox's game day, which they have not been to Indiana yet, which a little surprising.
You think it's surprising that Fox hasn't been to Indiana?
There hasn't been a lot of opportunities, but there has been an opportunity or two.
Well,
and only because Indiana is a Big Ten school, so it's all about the promoting your own wares, baby. That's why college game day is always,
But if they're going to promote their own stuff, they're going to start with Ohio State, Michigan, Texas, USC. So like I don't think
I'm
they
sorry. I thought they already had the Ohio State commercial on with Urban Meyer every week.
They do. I think.
And how about Urban Meyer jumping back? He's shameless, man. Just jump right back on.
Like nothing happened.
Like nothing ever happened.
Exactly.
I never left. I never went to Jacksonville. I didn't suck and stink it up and then go to the bar. And none of that ever happened.
Yes. I was just going to say, I am way less concerned about his record in the NFL than I am with all of the shenanigans that happened while he was the coach. And by the way, I don't understand. Like
There's
Fox,
always something to be said for shenanigans.
Fox extending that offer back to him. Whew. I mean, don't get me wrong. As an analyst, he's really good. As a person,
as long as you can talk about Ohio State.
No, I think he's actually really good at being an analyst. But I'm just saying, like, as a human being, like, just I can't believe. Well, I can believe it. Never mind. Anyway,
there you go.
Forward.
So that's that. So that's a lot to take in. It's just a lot to take in before a noon kickoff for fans. If you're trying to get around to see that, well, you can see that or do your own tailgate thing. I would just go to BB's, get your stuff, and just do your own tailgate thing. But hey, there you go. You got all kinds of options. It's good to have options.
I love
options.
Options
are great. I love options. I love shenanigans.
I love a good noon kickoff too. I'm a big tailgate breakfast guy.
Well, I was thinking about that. I was like, I already told Chef John I went to noon kickoff. I said, so let's think of some breakfast brunchy type of things.
Biscuits and gravy.
Well, you know what? First thing he responded was, well, I'll have to introduce you to my world famous biscuits and gravy.
Oh, man, I'm so jealous. But I'm getting up there. I'm going to try the world famous biscuits and gravy.
There may be some shenanigans when you make it up here.
There might. Well, yes, there might be. Not Urban Meyer level shenanigans, but
shenanigans, bad decisions. I'm just kidding. We've got lots more coming up here on Indiana Sports Beat Radio. I'm glad to have you with us. Make sure take your phone out and give me a follow on Twitter if you don't mind. I'd greatly appreciate that at Jim Coyle ISB or Dustin Schutte as well at Schutte Sports.
Not any longer. I'm not on Twitter.
Oh, you changed it again?
No, I'm not on Twitter. Right. I took it off.
Forget about
you can follow
Dustin.
me on Instagram.
Forget about Dustin. Just forget about Dustin. Just follow Jim on Twitter.
There we
go. At Jim Coyle ISB. We got lots more coming up. This segment was brought to you by Barbara Pop Real Estate Services. If you're looking for a home down in the Louisville, Southern Indiana, Floyd, Clark, Harrison County areas, all throughout Southern Indiana, they've served that area for 3 decades, and no one knows it like Barbara Pop Real Estate Services. Reach out to Barbara at barbarapop.com or Matt Lincoln, Matt at barbarapop.com. Much more coming up right after this.
We'll be right back to the golf club at Eagle Point Studios for more Indiana Sports Beat Radio with Jim Coyle, presented by Endeavor Hospitality Group and Andy Moore Honda of Bloomington.
Andy Moore. shenanigans.
Welcome back, Kyler.
Welcome back. Did you guys miss me?
We did.
I haven't seen you in a while.
Yeah. No, I mean, with all these changes and stuff, I just got the days and the times kind of mixed up a little bit.
I don't even know who's
you're
on. What are you
telling
talking
me.
about?
All right.
Mimosas. The truth jumping on.
We haven't heard from him in a while, have we?
I have got to run these dogs out.
Have fun.
So I will return. This is going to be recruiting, isn't it?
Yeah, I've got a lot of recruiting stuff that happens.
He's like, good. I'm gonna mute myself. Goodbye.
this is what I'm going to drop out and run the dogs out because I had.
Do you want me to remove you and you just come back? You just muted yourself. I don't have a clue what he's saying. What did you say?
I said I woke up late this morning because I had a massive headache. So I will. I'm being mocked on this show.
Yeah.
I won't stand for it.
Do you want me to remove you from the stream for this segment?
Yeah, I might come back mid-segment, but
just wave at me and I'll pull you back in.
I'm going to give you the middle finger is what I'm going to do.
Oh, that's great. Perfect.
How about that? I removed it.
Power move.
I have power moves. I have all kinds of power moves I can do. How about them apples? Ooh. How about them apples?
How about them?
So what happens if I removed you, John?
I can do the same thing to you. I can put myself back in.
No, I understand that, but what if I removed you? What does that do?
I'll just nothing.
Does it prevent us from hearing?
Yeah, like you won't be able to hear any of the stuff coming back.
Yeah, okay. How's the Roadcaster coming?
I have had zero time for that. I'm trying to get through this move just as much as everybody else now at iHeart. It's getting, as you can tell from yesterday, it's gotten insane now that it's actually happening. These next 2 days are going to be less than fun.
Is that what you're doing tomorrow?
Today and tomorrow. All right, here we go.
Get you in the home you want today. Cheryl at IndyHomePros.com.
This segment is brought to you by Feast Market and Cellar. Now back to the Golf Club at Eagle Point Studios for more Indiana Sports Beat Radio with Jim Coyle, presented by Endeavor Hospitality Group and Andy Moore Honda of Bloomington.
Welcome back, Indiana Sports Beat Radio, coming to you here on this Thursday. Jim Coyle with you. Joined now by Kyler Staley from thehoosier.com. Make sure you go to thehoosier.com for all your Indiana sports news and recruiting information. Like 2024 five-star Asa Newell, his official visit is set. Kyler Staley, another Montverde pipeline candidate.
Another one, yeah. The Indiana staff was, I believe, they were 4 deep at Montverde earlier this week. Obviously seeing Newell, and then also seeing Liam McNeely and Derek Queen. I mean, there's 3 guys right there in the Montverde pipeline that Indiana's going after hard.
Not only, but they're very similar. Very similar. Malik Renault was more of a inside guy, but Asa Newell at 6'9", he's that versatile wing that Mike Woodson loves. But seems to be a lot of them coming out of Montverde.
Yeah, and it's a pipeline like you've talked about before. I mean, they've got obviously the Newell visit just set up, and then you've got Queen and McNeely set for September 25th together on their official visits. They're definitely using that to their advantage. I mean, they got Jalen Hutchafino, Malik Reneau out of that. I mean, certainly they're probably going to get at least 2 or 3 more guys within these next couple of years from that Montverde team.
Yeah, it's amazing that to be able to set up a pipeline like that in this day and age. with all of the options, all the different opportunities out there. So that is, if that ends up being the case, that should be something that the Indiana fans look at as what's been going on recruiting. I know that they haven't won every recruiting battle, but a lot of the times you're having to lay the groundwork, and they seem like they're slowly but surely doing that along the way, pulling in some good recruits.
Yeah, they absolutely are, especially with the younger kids, the 2024s. Well, I guess they're going to be upperclassmen now, but then the 2025s, they're laying the groundwork with their. I mean, they've got Harrelson and Sisley visit this weekend for Parents Weekend plus the football game. Obviously, those two are visiting Hoosier Stereo as well. They actually, assistant coach Brian Walsh just went up and saw Trey McKinney. He's out of Flint, Michigan. He actually just visited Michigan. Trey McKinney went on a official visit, unofficial, I can't remember exactly. But they've got him, and then a new guy that just came about that they saw last Friday after they went and saw Harrelson is Xavier Robinson from Lawrence North. Brian Walsh was there to see him. He's probably the third best player in the 2025 class in the state. Really quick guard, can make a lot of plays on the ball. So that's a new name to watch for. No offer yet. So yeah, they're laying the groundwork with these young guys.
And the offers are still coming, like we said. I saw an offer go out recently. What's the next offer that you think might happen?
That's a tough.
That's a tough question. Yeah, I know it's a tough question because it's a guessing game, but
it's so random. I mean, obviously there could be, with them still doing the visits, the off-campus visits right now, there could be an offer that pops up today. Like, for example, they had 2 2024 offers this week that just kind of came out of nowhere. Tyler Betsy was offered. He's teammates with Dylan Harper, Ron Harper Jr.'s younger brother. So that's another guy. He's a shooter. I just wrote a scouting piece on him. 6'7", bigger wing. He's a stock riser for and on the Nike EYBL circuit. And then they also just offered 5-star Nas Cunningham. He's from New Jersey. He plays on Overtime Elite right now. So those are just two guys that, just kind of came out of nowhere. I mean, Indiana's got definitely their guys. I mean, there's going to be a lot more random offers, especially this 2024, 2025 classes.
And Asa Newell, getting back to him, mentioned him at the top of the segment. This visit went extremely well. Go to thehoosier.com for all the for the entire story. But his dad, the one quote that I will pull from it, his dad said, "It was a lot of fun, probably the best unofficial visit we've had so far." So take from that what you will, but there's a lot more of the story there. But that gives you a great indication. Indiana is also, I think, under Mike Woodson, really refined and defined their recruiting structure, their style, how they go after the kids, what they show them. Him sitting down and watching film with them, they have really professionalized what they're doing and turned it into a sales session. I'm not saying that in a negative way. I'm saying it in a positive way. They're selling Indiana. They're selling what's Mike Woodson and selling all that goes with that.
Yeah, and like obviously, it's good to mention that Mike Woodson also has a lot of experience in the NBA. That's why he's recruiting these top tier players. And his pitches. I was in the NBA for however many years, for a long time. I know what it takes to get there. I have those connections to get there. I think the pro day that they're having right before Hoosier Stereo is big as far as recruiting, because recruits are going to see that, like, oh, they've got representatives from all 30 NBA teams going there for a pro day that, specifically for the Indiana basketball team. That's monstrous right there. And then they'll see, Hoosier Stereo, the fan base, how we react, how much they love Indiana basketball and stuff. But Mike Woodson's done an excellent job. I mean, he didn't hit a lot of guys in the 23 class right now. Obviously, still Page. It's still available right now. He just released his Final Four yesterday. But Mike Woodson's done an outstanding job getting the guys that he wants.
And speaking of Page, Indiana on that Final Four.
Yes, along with Miami, Florida, Cincinnati, and USC.
USC, it's Los Angeles. Miami, it's Miami. But Miami also means Daddy Big Bucks, John Ruiz down there. I don't know what USC has going on, but it'll be interesting to see where he ends up. I know that they have put a lot of effort into him, and they have gone after him very, very hard. So you know that they have made the pitch. He knows what the NIL possibilities are. It'll be surprising if they don't get him, because they've worked real hard on that one. Probably as hard on him as they have anyone up to this date, I think.
Yeah, and I would agree with that. They, at this point in time, they've done everything that they possibly could do. I mean, they just visited him over the weekend. I think Alec might have more on that tomorrow, how that went. But, I mean, they've done everything they could. They've made him a priority this summer. Every time I watched Page, when it was a live period, there was a coach there. I mean, at one time, they had 4 deep plus Xavier Johnson there as well. I mean, they've done everything that they could. Like, you can't fault the effort by Mike Woodson and staff if he doesn't commit to Indiana, which, I mean, Indiana still lays at a really good spot with him. It's just kind of, what Page feels is best for him.
Forrest says, when you're only going after 4 and 5 stars, you're going to have a lot of whiffs until you start winning. There's a lot of truth there. There is a lot of truth. Indiana hasn't won anything yet. I've mentioned that before. They had a good end of the season last year, but they haven't won anything yet. They made the tournament. Now this year, that's going to have to be elevated. And but some of these guys are going to make decisions before this season plays out. Like Page, his decision will be made before then. Most of the other guys, I think that they're chasing right now, won't be. So, but winning, it matters. I don't care what sport it is. It matters. It matters in football. People want to talk about the fans. Yeah, Indiana should have better fan support. I will say that. They should have better fan support. But I'm also not going to say that the stadium should be sold out because they don't win enough. You want to sell it out, win. It's a simple process. It's been proven out time and time again. But that's the same for Indiana basketball. They get back to winning, like being what they were. Recruiting was never a problem. Part of that was because you had Bob Knight, but Bob Knight was winning. Indiana was winning. People want to go. They want to be a part of a winner. So when they start winning, these recruiting misses are almost going to shrink. They were going to shrink. They're almost going to, I don't want to say disappear, but become fewer because Indiana then becomes much more of a destination for these national guys, which it used to be and it will be again. I'm pretty confident.
Yeah, and I agree. I mean, this year is monstrous when it comes to, if Indiana can win the Big Ten championship, these 2024s and 25s, they're going to see that. That's going to instantly draw to them. They're going to go to a winning program. They're going to have an NBA, coach that was there for how many ever years. And, especially if Woodson can get guys like Trace Jackson Davis and maybe an Xavier Johnson or someone like that to the NBA, that's going to open up a lot of eyes for these recruits. They're going to get a lot more visits. These recruits are going to take Indiana a lot more serious when it comes to recruiting and things like that. So it's a big year for Mike Woodson. If he can live up to the hype, if this Indiana team can live up to the hype, it's going to help him for years down the road.
He'll have tiger blood, baby. Someone just mentioned Charlie Sheen in the chat room, so I thought I'd throw that one out. What's up next?
Right now, obviously they're kind of still off campus visiting right now. I think Brian Walsh just returned home yesterday, but I think Mike Woodson, Kenya Hunter, and Yasir Roseman, I think those guys are kind of wrapping it up right now. I'm not for sure off the top of my head when they can stop doing the off-campus visits. Need to do a little bit of research on that, but they're still doing that. There could be a few more offers that come along the way these next couple of days, and then obviously we're just going to get updates on Page. He's projected to commit towards the end of September, so we'll see if that happens or not. But there's still a lot of
when September ends.
Yeah.
Everyone's wondering. See, there's always an opportunity to sing, so I have to take it.
You have
to. People love it. The people love it so much.
Yeah, and you have a beautiful voice.
That was my point. Very facetiously, I assure you. Kyler Staley, I can't thank you enough, brother. Always good to have you. Make sure you give Kyler a follow at Kyler Staley and go to thehoosier.com. He's got a story up right now. Alec Lasley does as well. The story about the Asa Newell visit, and there are plenty more at thehoosier.com. Lots about the football program as well. But we'll see you next week, man. Have a great weekend.
Yeah, you too, guys.
Thanks a lot. We've got lots more coming up. Dustin Schutte will return. And we also have Chris Denari yet to get to. And who knows? Maybe I have another opportunity to sing since Dustin missed out on it.
Oh,
Back
God.
with more Indiana Sports Beat, brought to you by Meadowworks Brewing Company, all part of the Wild Club family and Endeavor Hospitality. Of course, Meadowworks took over for the Function Brewery location just off the square in Bloomington, right on 6th Street. So, catty corner from Cabello, where we'll be tonight for Deverloob's Hoop Dinner, by the way. But make sure you stop by Meadowworks, get your mugs filled up, your growlers filled up. They got some custom growlers. They're awesome. But for your tailgating, man, you go there and get your growlers filled up after you've gone to BB's and got all your stuff. You're ready to go. You're ready to go. And so are we, as soon as we return right after this.
We'll be right back to the Golf Club at Eagle Point Studios for more Indiana Sports Beat Radio with Jim Coyle, presented by Endeavor Hospitality Group and Andy Moore Honda of Bloomington. Hey, this is...
That was some horrific timing, Dustin.
I know. No, it was horrific timing on your part.
On both of our parts. I didn't know you were going to give me the bird.
I told you that's how I was going to reintroduce myself.
Well, I saw you put your headphones on. I was like, okay, he's ready to come back in. And then I brought him in, and he gave the camera the bird.
I didn't see that, so I missed it. But
that's good. At least it didn't get noticed. I'm sure some of the people watching saw it.
My eyes got really big.
Jordan Hulls is working, doing whatever he's doing. I don't know the answer to that question. I'll ask him tonight, though, when I see him. I'll see him tonight.
I saw Jennifer was on here. I need a Chuck and Abigail update. How the dog's doing? By the way, I saw a snake in someone's doorway the other day, and I'm petrified to go outside now.
Oh, yeah?
Down there?
Yes.
That's nothing. A friend of mine sent a picture.
Dude,
he was out on a walk.
Okay, at least he was outside.
He went to his cabin in Brown County. But this was on like a paved something. I don't know if it was a walkway or a road, but it was a damn rattlesnake. Oh,
in Indiana?
Yeah, we have rattlesnakes.
Really?
What do you think we are, in Antarctica or something?
No, I saw plenty of snakes in Indiana. I didn't know there were rattlesnakes though. Well,
you haven't been to the places where they are.
That's probably
I'd
true.
say they're in southern Indiana, because northern Indiana is just
right.
flat.
Which is where I grew up. My time in southern
Indiana.
Yeah, my amount of time in southern Indiana has been limited.
There's copperheads here and
Cottonmouth.
Oh yeah.
That's
by the way, Chris might be a few minutes late. He says, just a heads up.
Oh, it's okay.
And he's probably going to be joining from his vehicle. But that's okay as well.
This is a great. That is a great. I can't think of the word I'm looking for, but
analogy comparison.
Yes. He does remind me of kind of Kurt Rambis. His play. I mean, he was just a banger, and yeah, exactly what he's not a big time star, but
all right, here we go.
Or visit EaglePoint.com, the golf club at Eagle Point in Bloomington, an exceptional golf and dining experience.
This segment is brought to you by Courtroom Sports Grill in Bedford. Now back to the Golf Club at Eagle Point Studios for more Indiana Sports Beat Radio with Jim Coyle, presented by Endeavor Hospitality Group and Andy Moore Honda of Bloomington.
Welcome back, Indiana Sports Beat Radio, brought to you by Courtroom Sports Bar and Grill down in Bedford. Stop in, a great place to watch a game, grab lunch with friends. just hang out. Man, we've talked about everything today already. Snakes.
Yep. Well, that was in the break. That wasn't on the show yet.
Well, yeah, in the break was talking about it. You saw a snake in someone's doorway yesterday.
Yeah. So people that don't know, I live in Florida.
What kind of snake was it? I don't care where you live now. I'm more interested in the snake.
It was I'm just saying they are frequent down here. I am almost positive it was a black racer. So it's not venomous.
Not is it not poisonous, but they're not aggressive, are they?
Oh yeah. Well,
are they?
It depends on they're very temperamental. So
I guess he was trying to get in.
He was trying to get in. They will if they feel threatened. If they feel threatened, they will not only like intimidate you. They will chase after you. That is that my a story of my great grandmother. Because I don't remember where this was, but there was a black racer. She went to the cemetery that chased them out of the cemetery one time. So every time she would go to place flowers on her mother and father's gravesite, she would take a meat tenderizer with her in case she ran into a snake.
Well, what the hell was she going to do with a meat tenderizer?
Smack it.
How long was a meat tenderizer? A foot, maybe?
I wasn't there. This was my great-grandmother. But, I mean, that's old school,
wasn't
baby.
thinking too close. She wasn't going to get within a foot of that thing.
Hey, she was tough as nails, let me tell you.
I don't doubt that, but my point is she ain't going to get within a foot of that snake before he's already bitten her.
No, I'm just telling you. This is the story that was told to me. I wasn't there.
I believe it. I'm just pointing out, if I'm going to ride a snake, it's going to be with a driver or a long iron, as long an iron as I have, a 5 iron, as long as iron as I have in my bag, baby. That's distance.
Yes. See, and I'm a big hiker, and this isn't just to Florida, but I love going in the summertime, but I prefer to actually go in the wintertime when I was in Georgia because you don't have to worry. The snakes are hibernating. The bears are hibernating. Even if the snakes are out, it's too cold for them, so they won't attack you. Ugh. But when you see it in somebody's doorway, ugh.
Robert says they've had some big rattlers at their shooting camp over by Yellowwood, which I don't know where that is. Ross, I think he lives down in Kentucky. He says he saw an elk on his property yesterday. He almost wet himself.
How about that?
But that's pretty cool. You know, there used to be bison, not buffalo. It's no such thing. There used to be bison all over Indiana. That's why, if you'll notice, it's a state symbol.
And it's Indiana's adopted mascot.
That's what I meant. But
yeah,
funny, none of the sports teams.
I wish they would, to be quite honest with you.
I think it would be kind of neat. Adopted that moniker, which,
well, maybe not the logo, but like a mascot. I feel like that would be cool.
The logo would have been a cool. I mean, to have a big old bison as your.
Well, the logo, because like the Crimson Tide have an elephant, it's got nothing to do with with Crimson Tide. So I think a buffalo would be, bison. Bison would be cool.
Yes.
Well, not the nickname, but just the image.
And don't forget, Hoosier Hank, Mike Ross, had made. I've shown it before, but it's pretty cool looking. But we'll see. There it is.
Ooh.
How about that?
I like that.
I mean,
now, what is that made out of?
All different pieces of steel.
Okay.
Metal. That's a piece of artwork, basically.
Well, yeah.
Made out of all kinds of different things. That red thing that you see on his left shoulder.
Yep.
I believe that is a lawn push mower base.
Is it really?
I'm serious. Yeah. And There's a
See,
couple of
how do people-
IU things on there.
Do I see a
But,
license plate?
Yep. Oh yeah.
Okay.
That's right up front. Chain hanging off of his chin for his chin whiskers, and
Oh,
on top of his head. So
Nice head of
yeah,
hair.
all kinds of cool stuff. But to see it up close, but hopefully,
Oh, please don't. The Hoosier Pride logo or the mascot. Look at that.
Oh,
I mean,
my
what a
God.
terrible idea that was.
I want to punch that guy right in the face,
It would be fun.
just right in that nose. I would
Followed
like to
by-
see these two. I would like
In
to
a
see
fight?
those two just have a fight.
Hey, it's better
This
than
fight.
you know what's Nebraska's used to be like an actual ear of corn too. It is bizarre to me what some of these people did for mascots back in the day.
Five Lefts has had enough. He said, "No more snakes on a plane."
Yeah.
I
I'm
never
telling
saw
you,
that
when you-
movie. I
when
would
you
not
s-
want to see that movie.
When you see it in somebody's doorway, I'm looking out the peephole every time before I go outside now. Because I do those things. The thing about those is if they feel threatened, they'll lunge at you. And they're so quick that they have really quick instincts.
I didn't know what that state forest name was over in Brown County, Robert. My apologies, but yeah, that's where he was or is. He has my friend has a cabin over there, and that's where that was. I saw there was another picture posted. I think it was from Brown County. It was two rattlesnakes that were doing the mating dance, where they're like 2 feet off the ground, intertwined.
Yep, I saw that too. Ooh.
Dad, just oh boy. Yeah, and when it was when we had the reawakening of the cicadas, was that last year or year before last?
I was too far south. It did not affect me.
But you know, they're a favorite snack of copperheads.
Are they? Well, they come out
Yeah.
once every 17 years. It's
Well, yeah.
it's a delicacy.
Yeah, there you go.
Was it cicadas? Or was it I don't know. I don't know what I was gonna say. Locusts? It was cicadas.
Yeah, it was the cicadas. It was
Okay.
cicadas.
I don't know my
And it
insects.
was last year too.
I'm not a big etymologist. That is the correct
Dennis
term, isn't it?
11 says, asks if does anyone remember the bison sculptures the state moved around the state for the bicentennial?
Because get it? Bicentennial. Get it?
That's funny. That's funny. That's a good one.
I
For the
assume that they
bicentennial.
I hope
They
to
should
God
they should have spelled it that way.
I hope
The
they did.
bicentennial.
I cannot be the only one that would have thought of that.
That was pretty damn quick too. I got to give you that one. Dennis also heard that a Hoosier was a moonshiner, and that's why Indiana is a party school and doesn't have a mascot. Well,
You
in
just
Missouri,
get drunk
a
and
Hoosier
walk around the field.
in Missouri, a Hoosier's an idiot.
Is it really?
Yes, it's a derogatory term in there. Also, cicadas are every year, locusts are every 17.
See, that's what I thought. Is that correct?
I didn't.
That could be true, but the certain type of cicada that this was last year comes out every so many years. There's different kinds of cicadas.
Is a locust a type of cicada?
I don't know.
Yeah, we're getting in. I'm not an whatever you think I am, an etymologist.
Etymologist.
Is this the content
Anime.
that our listeners and viewers come for?
This is what the people want. They don't want IU Western Kentucky talk. We want cicada talk, snakes, elk.
Snakes on a plane. Speaking of Western Kentucky, they've been challenging in years past.
Yes.
I don't know that they have quite as good a team this year as they have recently, but I hope that Indiana's football team learned a valuable lesson last week I know I did.
This is what I'm interested in. How do the Hoosiers respond? Because, first of all last week, Tom Allen said he was stressing the importance of that game and telling the players this is a much improved Idaho team. Last year, this week might be a little bit different. Because Tom Allen's going to be like, I told you so. You got to take every opponent we play seriously. Second of all, last year's a little bit different because this Western Kentucky team gave Indiana a run for their money. So they might go into this game knowing damn well if they don't play well, they could get upset. So I expect to see a much more focused Indiana team. I want to see Connor Bazelak for a full 4 quarters play consistent football. That's what I want to see.
I think that Indiana's going to have to score some points in this game.
Yes and no.
Western hung 49 on Hawaii, and I know it's Hawaii, but that's big boy numbers to put up.
Yep.
By the way, Hawaii is the worst rated team in FBS right now.
I know it's Hawaii. They are bad. They put 38 on Austin P, but they gave up 27 to Austin P, which was the first game of the year. But they're getting their offense. Their offenses have 3 games now. This will be the 3rd game. So,
this is Indiana's 3rd game too.
Yeah, but their offense is clicking. Is my point?
Yeah, that's true.
My point being, their offense is clicking now. Indiana's is not.
Indiana's has clicked for about 20 minutes of football clock.
It's clicked in a couple of drives.
Well, it was on point for the entire 3rd quarter against Idaho, and then a couple minutes, the first possession in the 4th quarter.
The weather was definitely a
factor.
First half was definitely a factor in the first half, no question. For what they want to do, for what Indiana wants to do.
Yeah, but Idaho was moving the ball. They threw the deep ball, and they didn't have any trouble. See, I don't subscribe. I generally think it was a lack of focus and not taking them seriously because Idaho, like the weather, I get it, but it wasn't like they were just dropping passes. Like it was bad offense. Like it wasn't, it's because it's slippery out. It was bad offense. Idaho connected on some big plays, so they had to deal with the same conditions. I think it was just a complete lack of focus. And then at halftime, when you're down 10-0, oh, crap, we better start taking this team seriously or we're going to get beat.
Well, I hope that they leave their female students at home because yesterday they arrested one of theirs with explosives on campus. So
I did not see that.
Hey, let's take a quick break and we'll get our friend Chris Denari in, see how he's doing and what's up. All right, Chris is with us now. John, we need to take a break.
Nope,
all right.
You're good.
How are you, Chris?
Hey, I'm doing great. How are you guys?
Cannot complain. I'm going to turn your phone sideways there. There, look how beautiful that is. In all his beauty. How was your weekend?
That was great. We had a nice week-long vacation on Pawleys Island in South Carolina. Our oldest son and daughter-in-law live down in Conway, just outside of Myrtle Beach. And we had a place out on the beach, and it was wonderful. Our middle son, his wife, and our grandson flew down. And so we had a great time. So for me, it really marks sort of the end of what's been a great summer because next week I head to New Jersey for NBA meetings. And then the next week training camp starts. And then the next week preseason starts. And then in a couple of weeks after that, the regular season starts. So it was a nice getaway, nice chance to get some sun and spend some time with family, knowing that, now it's a 6.5 month sprint.
We had Matt Taylor on with us earlier and talking about his first game back and back to traveling. And I said, yeah, Chris had mentioned that they'll be back on the road this year, but he was talking about how he has learned to appreciate traveling with the team because it is so much better than what they were having to do and all, and the other travel that goes along with that. And I know you, like I said, you had mentioned that to us and I hadn't thought about that aspect of it, but man, that was really a big thing to him.
Oh, there's no question about that. And, I heard Michael Grady, who I think many people know in the Indianapolis area, longtime radio personality. The last 4 or 5 years has worked at the Yes Network. He is now the new voice of the Minnesota Timberwolves. So he'll be doing play-by-play as well. And he had a great podcast with Richard Deitch of The Athletic. And he echoed a lot of the things that I've always told people. Why is it necessary to travel? Can you do games remotely? Oh, sure you can. But the thing is when you're on site, it's not just being at the game. It's being with the team. It's being around the coaches. It's being in the hotel with the players. It's those kinds of things where you build a relationship with them. And I think when you're the voice of a team, that's important because the players, the athletes, they want to know who you are just as much as you want to know who they are. And I think, again, that's so important. And I think, that's what Matt was able to do this past weekend, going to Houston, and he'll be on the road this weekend as well, going to Jacksonville.
I was going to say, Jim, I know the first preseason game is October 5th. I'll actually be up in Indiana. That I might have to make my way to Gamebridge Fieldhouse for that first game. I think it's a Wednesday because I'm not going to be there quite for the start of the regular season, but I want to see it's been a while since I've seen a game. The last game I had was Pacers Celtics immediately before COVID.
Oh wow. Yeah.
That was the last game I saw live.
I'll go with you. We'll definitely go to that game.
There we go.
Yeah,
we can heckle Chris. you know the people love to heckle the opposing team. We'll get seats right behind him and Denari, you're out of it. You're old. Get out of the game.
Yeah, you're right. That was the last Tuesday. We had just gotten back from about a 5-game road trip. That's the last time I traveled. My last road game was in Dallas on that Sunday, and then played the Celtics on Tuesday. And then I remember exactly where I was that following night. My wife and I had driven to Muncie to have dinner with our son, who was wrapping up his final year at Ball State. And we get in the car, and I hear about the Rudy Gobert situation. And I turned to my wife and I said, well, that's it. I think the season will be postponed. And she looked at me and she said, really? And it was a few hours later that the NBA postponed the season, and just was just an unbelievable thing. And again, we're just talking about sports. This impacted so many people and so many families. I'm sure you guys have all had people that friends or family members that either were very sick or passed away from COVID. So sports was just a peripheral part of that. It's so good here in the summer or September of 2022. While it's still around, we've at least gotten to the other side of it because it created so much havoc for so many families across the country, let alone the world.
Yeah, I remember I was in town for the Big Ten tournament because every time it's been in Indianapolis, my friend and I go, and the Pacers always play, it seems, a Monday or Tuesday game at home before they change the court and have to go on a week-long road trip. So, we went to that first night, and then after that Wednesday Big Ten tournament, it was basically called off. So, but that was the last time. So now that I'll be up there, like I said, I'll probably get to a regular season game later in the year, maybe in the springtime, but want to see the Pacers, new look Pacers in action. First preseason game seems like a great time to do it because I got a lot of, I don't know about high expectations, but really interested to see what this new team looks like. I know we won't maybe get a great feel for that in the preseason, but we might get some glimpses as to what the team looks like, what the rotations might be.
Yeah, I think the one thing that we're all interested in is to see how everything fits together early in the year. When you're talking about building around, I think a really good point guard in Tyrese Halliburton. You have a brand new draft pick in Benedict Mathurin. I'm interested to see how Miles Turner fits into this puzzle. He did not play with Buddy Hield or Jalen Smith or Tyrese Halliburton last year. So I think, guys, this is the feeling I get when I'm out and about in the Indianapolis area. People understand what the Pacers are trying to do. They see a pathway to the future. This has not been a franchise that has been rebuilding over the last 20 or 30 years. They've always been very, very competitive. Over the last 30 years, they rank in the top 5 among all Eastern Conference teams in appearances in the Eastern Conference Finals. So this is a little bit new, but I think it's also something that is being embraced. And I'm anxious to see how the season will start and how these guys will all fit together.
Looking forward to it, man. I'm sure you're looking forward to getting back at it.
Yeah, I'm going to start, in fact, today, right when I get home. I'm going to start some work. Yeah, some prepping. I mean, I've done a little bit throughout the summer, but I really said that once I got back from South Carolina before training camp starts, which is I've got another week and a half, I'm really going to try to get a lot done. So I'm looking forward to sort of sitting at the desk, putting on the Sonos and some good music and going to work.
What all does that... I was just going to ask what all goes into your prep, because I like to just doing this at the high school level was a lot of prep work for me, and I only did it for a few years and for small high schools. So I still think at sometimes there's the ideas that you just show up to games and you call, you see what, and then you go home and it's the end of the night, right? But that's far from true. You got a lot of obligations. What all goes into your preseason prep work?
Well, a lot of it is, throughout the summer, I've done a lot of reading. The Athletic is a great source, the various newspapers in the cities that you can get access to. I have subscriptions to a number of things so that I can get access. But then I start to build my boards, and those are even ongoing as the season goes on, because there's free agency, there are trades, there are, players waived. And so a lot of it's cut and paste for me. I go in and I start moving players to their respective teams. I update their stats from last year, storylines that, they may have that have been created in the off season. So I really, what I'll try to do is, like today, I'll try to focus. There are 30 teams in the NBA, and of course the Pacers are one of those, and I've done a lot of work already on them. I'll try to focus on 3 teams today. And what I'll try to do over the next week and a half is focus on 3 teams a day. And if I do that over the next 9 to 10 days, I'll have a lot of that stuff done before training camp starts. And then as training camp begins, I'll start to look at the rosters, and you'll start to, delete players that don't make the 15-man roster and those types of things. So a lot of it is stuff that, ironically, you may never use in a telecast, but it's always there on your chart. And I find that, for me, it's very, very important.
Just like a coach, you see them with all these plays. They don't use hardly any of them, but they have all these options there. They have all the options that they need, that they want. If the situation comes up, they're prepared. As are you, my friend. That's why you're such a professional.
Well, I appreciate it. I enjoy doing this every Thursday with you guys, and look forward to continuing during the regular season.
Wait, I have to ask Chris one question before we take a break and let him go. Barks or mug root beer?
I'm going to say
Why don't you ask him his root beer favorite?
Because that wasn't the question I saw on Facebook.
I know, but you're putting it in a box when you do that.
All right, what's your favorite root beer, Chris?
I do like Barks. I'll tell you what, I'm a big fan of Culver's, the restaurant.
Okay,
and
their diet root beer is outstanding. So,
buddy, you just may have given me something, because I haven't been drinking diet sodas lately. If I drink a soda, because I saw a study, but I will do the Culver's diet root beer.
Yes,
that sounds delicious.
It's really good. You don't even think it's diet when you're drinking it.
Our good friends, I saw Scott Leskowski just the other night. They're putting up a free plug for them, but they're putting up a new place down in Jasper.
Yeah, there's a new Culver's in
Seymour.
Westfield Carmel. There's a new Culver's going in downtown Carmel. And I used to see John Laskowski when they were involved in the Fishers Culver's. I would see John all the time. So
he was probably training.
Yeah.
Learning the ropes because they've got one in Bloomington. They just opened one in Seymour. Like I said, they're working in Jasper now, so they're getting around.
John Laskowski was the very first TV game I ever did in my life, ever. It was
With him?
Butler. It was Butler, Indiana, at Hinkle, 1993. Butler beat Indiana, and I did it on Channel 4 with George McGinnis and John Laskowski. That was my very first TV game.
George McGinnis and John.
Yep.
John was great on TV.
Oh, yeah.
I never heard George.
He was my analyst. He was my analyst for Butler Radio for a couple of years. And so, just a great guy. That was if I had to, to be able to do, TV with those two for my first game. And then the last 16 years, I've worked with either Clark Kellogg or Quinn Buckner. I've been pretty lucky.
You have certainly had a great lineup, and we do as well by having you, buddy. I appreciate you. I hope you have a great weekend.
All right. Thanks, guys.
Thank you, sir. Chris Denari, the voice of the Indianapolis Pacers, kind enough to join us here on Indiana Sports Beat. And we've got more coming up, and we'll be back with it right after this. Brought to you by Cabello, where I will be tonight. They're hosting the Never Lose Hoop dinner tonight. So looking forward to that. Jordan Hulls and the Hulls family and all of the sponsors will be joining us there. So out at Cabello on the square in Bloomington. Back with more right after this.
We'll be right back to the Golf Club at Eagle Point Studios for more Indiana Sports Beat Radio with Jim Coyle, presented by Endeavor Hospitality Group and Andy Moore Honda of Bloomington.
Whether you're visiting.
Yeah, that first preseason game is October 5th, and I'd like to go. But that's a Wednesday, so I don't know if you have to go to the coach's show. Because isn't that Wednesday too? Tom Allen's.
I don't have to go to that.
Oh.
I go most of the time just because.
Bam.
But I can skip it.
Because those tickets shouldn't be that expensive for preseason.
No.
Bada bing, bada boom.
Forwarding. Man, I hate when I have no time after the show.
Same.
That's every day for me. How do you guys like it?
Oh, trust me, I've been doing it since I've been full-time with iHeart. I talk with Jim sometimes, but I have to be out of the house by 11:30 usually, and that's pushing it. But things were supposed to have changed back on September 1st to make things easier on that front. But I can't say what they are, but those changes have been postponed. And so I'm still dealing with that shit. So because of the move that we're doing at iHeart and moving our studios and stuff downtown.
Uh-huh.
The studios are fantastic. Like the setup is awesome, but there's so many technical issues right now. It is a freaking disaster. I don't want to call it disaster, but like we have so many engineers in there helping us anytime something goes off the air or something goes wrong. It's because there's like the most expensive boards you could think of, which you don't know anything about it, but we have those in our iHeart studios. I don't know. Someone said they are upwards of $10,000 or something like that.
How about that?
I mean, like I said, it's really cool, but it is an interesting little project we have on our hands right now. But with that being said, here we go.
Ask for Indiana Sports Beat Radio. This segment is brought to you by Bubba's 33 in Clarksville. Pizza, burgers, beer. Now back to the Golf Club at Eagle Point Studios for more Indiana Sports Beat Radio with Jim Coyle, presented by Endeavor Hospitality Group and Andy Moore Honda of Bloomington.
Welcome back. It's Thursday here at Indiana Sports Beat Radio. Dustin Schutte from Outsider.com with me as always. Jim Coyle here. As soon as I get out of here, heading up to a memorial golf outing here at the Golf Club at Eagle Point. I need to check on my auction items. Everything's online now.
Yes.
Which is good until you forget about it, which I've forgotten about it. But, yeah, heading up there. And then tonight at Cabello, we have the Never Lose Hoop. Sponsors, thank you, dinner. We're thanking our sponsors, but Jordan Hulls will be there, and the Hulls family. We'll see how we did. I'm looking forward to that. Thank you guys for participating in that. And I'm finally getting those. He's getting, that reminds me. Glad I thought of that. Those signs, everyone who sponsored a hole, I'm finally getting him to get his picture with those things.
Nice.
And then, of course, tomorrow we're out at BB's live. I'm so hungry right now. I hate talking about it. It's killing me. I'm starving, and because I know how. And on top of that, I'm sitting here looking at, then starting Friday night, BB's parking lot party begins.
That's a parking lot party.
Seriously, it's if you're going to a local high school game, where Bloomington South, Bloomington North, I think South is hosting Terre Haute South. Place to come out because it's right by Bloomington South High School. So you can come out, stop by, wings, pulled pork sandwiches, smoked jalapeno, cheddar brats, all kinds of brats.
Oh, that sounds so
beans,
good.
Potato salads, yeah, all kinds of brats. They have all kinds of sausages, tea, and water, soda, and they'll have a variety of from Metalworks Brewing Company.
Oh, even better.
There's that.
Oh.
You got it all, baby. Then you can get your stuff for the next day's tailgate.
I'm telling you, I'm coming up there with a cooler. I'm coming up there with a cooler, and I'm coming back. I don't know how I'm going to keep it cold, but
hey, dry ice.
Oh boy, that's dangerous with me. I'm very accident prone.
But that's how they ship.
Oh, I know.
From Omaha.
Oh, I know. Yeah, I know how it works.
Omaha.
If I'm in control of it, though.
I love that.
That was a great commercial.
That line. Ho, ho, Omaha. I love that. I mean, I would just, the only thing would be better is if I thought of it.
Almost as good as the bicentennial.
I've got to tell you, I'm impressed.
Hey, dad
disappointed.
jokes. Dad
disappointed.
jokes.
I didn't think of it myself.
My specialty as a 34-year-old non-dad is dad jokes.
Yeah, so all that going on. Lots tomorrow. Then, of course, tomorrow night, it's got to be an early night because no more 8:00 kickoff, baby.
No.
Early morning. It goes from
by
a
the way,
late night to an early morning.
That October 8th game that I'm hoping to get to against Michigan is already scheduled for a noon kick, so I'm fired up about that.
Oh, it's a Michigan game.
Yep, Michigan Indiana. Yep.
Homecoming. Now see, there's an opportunity.
Yes. Well, let me.
Depending on.
Not happening. I don't want to be negative so far in advance, but Michigan looks really good.
They are. I think Michigan might be the best team in the Big Ten.
I think they might. J.J. McCarthy, I think, is a legit Heisman
Ohio
contender.
State fans are going to lose their minds, but until Ohio State shows me that Michigan's not the better team,
Well,
I'm going with Michigan.
here's the thing. Ohio State has played at least in their first game, they played a lot better competition, and I don't know that Arkansas State is that bad. So a little bit of it might be the fact that Michigan has played Colorado State and Hawaii, but J.J. McCarthy looks really good. They run the football extremely well. Their defense is playing well. They play UConn this week, so we're not going to learn much about them. But from what I've seen, they look really good. So I'm not going to – to me right now, Ohio State, Michigan's a toss-up. I won't say that Michigan's definitely going to win that game or anything, but I'm just saying now that they named J.J. McCarthy the starter, he looks like a Heisman caliber player. I'm fired up to see what he can do against a really good defense sometime down the road. I don't know what their schedule looks like, but in the future. That would, you know what? That might actually be Indiana's defense against Michigan's offense. You talk about a test. We'll find out how good that defense is.
Yeah, Justin, I talk about that all the time. Indiana getting in-state O-line, D-line guys, the dogs, as he calls them, that Purdue and Notre Dame get. And unfortunately that Ohio State and Clemson, Michigan, and those schools get, and are going to continue to get.
Yep.
I'm just, it's, if you're a five-star lineman and you've got Michigan offering you and Ohio State offering you and Penn State offering you or whomever in Indiana, why? I mean, why would you go to IU as opposed to one of those schools? Now, depending on how good you actually are, your playing time now, that's where you have to balance playing time versus.
Here's the thing. Here's some of the differences. Number one is until Indiana can prove that it can put those players in the NFL, they're going to have a hard time landing some of those guys. You've got to be able to develop. You've got to be able to put those guys in the NFL. The other thing is it's more difficult to land those guys. Like a skill position player will get recognition, whether he's at Appalachian State, Indiana, Michigan, Washington, Oregon, Georgia, doesn't matter. If you're a good skill position player, you'll get noticed. It's very difficult for an offensive lineman to get noticed unless you're at some of those big-time programs. So you might have to wait an extra year or two before you're on the field. You might be able to play at Indiana right away, but if you go to Ohio State, you know they're going to talk about you. You know you have a great chance at getting drafted. So Indiana is going to have to put some of those guys in the NFL or at least start to get to the 7-8 win consistently category, and then they might start to be able to land those players. But that's why it's a little more difficult, because Indiana's getting some of the playmakers, the high-rated playmakers. They get some of those guys, but OL and DL, it's a struggle, man.
Roger Federer just announced he's retiring. I see. Tim put up there. Not a shocker. I mean, he's been playing for what, 27 seasons, 28 seasons? I'm kidding. I'm being facetious, but probably not far from that. How many years? 25 years?
It's probably, I don't know if it's 25, but it's probably at least 20.
I mean, he is, and men and women tennis, men can go longer age-wise. For some reason, I think it takes longer for the guys to get good, where the women are great earlier. The younger, there's not many 14-year-old men competing with the men or boys competing with the men. So, but on the women's side, man, they got competition from 14-year-olds from the time, it's weird. But theirs starts sooner, but it ends sooner.
Right. Well, I mean, unless you're Serena,
ends later. Yeah.
She's
a superstar.
Yeah, she is. I don't know. I mean, we just saw Serena Williams and Roger Federer retire in the same year. That's crazy.
Has Caden Curry seen the field for the Buckeyes? Good question. I would doubt it.
You know what? I don't know.
Doubt it. I mean, isn't he a freshman there?
I honestly don't remember. I just stopped covering the Big Ten like 4 months ago, and I've lost a lot of my knowledge.
I think he's a freshman. Oh, yeah. John said it's getting to be that time. Hey, it's been a great one, a fun one, man. Looking forward to doing this again. Don't forget, brought to you by our good friends at Reynolds Family Dentistry down in Sellersburg. If you're down that way, stop in and see Dr. J. Get that championship smile. Keeps me smiling, and so do you guys. Appreciate Matt and Kyler and Chris for coming on today, as always. And, of course, Dustin, Schutte, John, the producer. Most importantly, thanks to you guys. Don't forget, back tomorrow, live from BB's. Man, we'll be having fun. If you're in and around the Bloomington area, come out to BB's for the show, and I'll feed you free. Well, you'll get everything that we get, man. I'll have to start making that, so that will be fun. I'd love to start doing something like that. Or I tell you, or we need to start an ISB thing for the football. You guys can, as a group, and we'll bring in a player each week to join us at BB's. That would be kind of fun.
There you go.
Just trying to think of some fun stuff.
Yeah.
But we're all back to do it again tomorrow, and I can't wait. Looking forward to it, man. You guys go out and have yourselves a great day. And until then, I'm Jim Coyle. I will see you on the radio.
Thanks for listening to Indiana Sports Beat Radio. Be sure to subscribe to our YouTube page for more clips and team coverage of Indiana basketball, football, and more. You can also find full episodes and tons of other content on thehoosier.com. We'll see you next time for another edition of Indiana Sports Beat Radio.